everyone, it's Matt Crossman. Today's our third episode of MCTV. We're here at MCMC Center in Moncton, and I'm going to give you a little bit of an update on some of the stuff that we've been working on in the last few months. To help me with my update is Michelle Gravel, our manager of operations for MCMC. Michelle's got 28 years experience in EMS, 18 years in dispatch, and Michelle's going to give us an update on a couple initiatives. One is our MCMC tour that we did around the province, where we met with staff and heard a lot of feedback. The next one is an incident reporting system, which we've been really working on hard the last number of months. And the last one is our radio system. And then I'm going to give you a little bit of an update on what we're working on this fall. Welcome, Michelle. Thanks very much. Can you start out by giving us a little bit of an update on your tour around the province? I know when I went around the province, MCMC was a hot topic, and we really heard from staff a lot of issues around SSP and things like that. Can you give us an example and kind of talk about what you learned on your tour?
Sure. Yeah, we decided to go out from the 16th to the 30th, and we visited 20 locations.
Great.
And we spoke to over about 100 medics.
Wow.
And they were discussing SSP issues, service inquiries, not getting feedback, and they all tie in. So based on that feedback, we got the medics to we made a report for senior management, and based on that report, we were told, we were given the go-ahead to actually produce a new SSP from mostly that feedback.
Yeah.
So what we've attempted to do is reduce the roadside posts,
yeah.
Reduce the traveling, because one of the major concerns that they had was a lot of unnecessary traveling, especially during the night.
Yeah.
So we believe that we'll be able to address those issues. So the last thing that we're working on now is the final version of the SSP. We have to present it to senior management, and once that's done, hopefully we'll be able to release it. We're planning around November 1st.
That's
if
great.
All goes well.
That's great, Michelle. Can you give us an example of what folks might see as some of the changes in the SSP? I know you mentioned roadside posts. Are we looking to get rid of a couple of them? Maybe you could just give us an example of that.
Sure. We're looking at right now, the proposal will be that Waywig will be removed as a roadside post.
Great.
And another one, for example, we have is Hardwood Ridge.
Yeah.
We've traveled those roads as well, and
yeah.
we've looked at a lot of those locations. It's just not needed.
Yeah.
And we're mostly trying to focus on where the calls are, the majority of the call, where's the likelihood of the call coming in, instead of trying to post them halfway through where they're going to miss either
That's
one.
great. I'm sure the staff will be really excited to be able to actually put their feet up and go in a location and have facilities. So that's great that you folks went around and listened to their concerns and are making the appropriate changes. Another one I know you've been working on a lot over the last couple of weeks and months especially is the incident reporting. When I went around, we heard a lot of inconsistencies and things aren't always being followed up. And this is not only just for MCMC, but also the field. Can you give the folks just a little bit of an update on what that looks like?
Yes. The service inquiry process was basically through an email. The staff would print out a form. They would fill out the form.
Yeah.
Some of them were typed hand-free text. Some of them were actually typed on a separate email. Some of them would come in. But the bottom line is it came in through emails, and there was no tracking process on it. As you know, you open an email, you open on a Saturday, you look at the service inquiry, then you say, oh, I'll deal with it Monday. Next
yeah.
thing you know, you forget, and
yeah.
it's gone. So one of the major complaints was that we're not getting answered on our service inquiries. So what we've done is a process, electronic process, to actually close the loop. So the staff now will go in, put in the service inquiry, goes to their OM, and it's being investigated, and then goes back to them. When the service inquiry is closed, they actually know that they've had their answer to their concern.
Also, I'm wondering if you can give everyone an update on the TMR2 project. I know Nova Scotia and Prince Edward Island have both started to implement theirs, and we're really excited about what it's going to mean for our operations.
Sure. The TMR2 project is the trunk mobile radio system. It was, as you know, it was announced, and it's actually there's a lot of work being done in the background right now, and we're actually going to have some people involved in that as well. So we're planning probably around a year to 18 months.
Yeah.
They're going to roll out into phases, but we're really excited about it too, because it's going to change the way we do business.
Sure.
For sure. One example is the emergency button on the portable radios, for
Right.
example. That's been a major concern on our part. It's been a major concern for the medics. There's been a lot of complaints coming on that, but there was nothing that we could change. TMR, for example, once you activate that button, we'll know exactly inside here which unit, if it's a portable, if it's a mobile, we'll know exactly who it is that pressed the panic button,
Great.
and we'll be able to address the issue.
That's really good because staff safety is always a concern for me, and I know you've got a lot of experience having done a stint as an operations manager as well. You got a good perspective of both field and communication, so thanks very much for those updates. I'm sure everyone's going to be really excited.
You're welcome.
Some of the other initiatives that we're going to work on this fall are also improving our communications. We want to make sure that we're working with all departments and all of our different stakeholders, and we're going to start to hold monthly meetings with all of our different managers and operations groups as well as other departments. So we're going to start to move some of these initiatives and really drive some success. We're also going to implement performance goals with metrics, and we're going to start to make sure that everyone understands what we're working on. We're going to measure those successes and make sure that we take time to celebrate them, because I find we don't always take the time to celebrate some of the great work that we've done. We're also going to look at training for all of our managers, and specifically for our MBMS staff. We're going to pull them all together, do a strategy session, and really energize the group and start to move forward as we build this company. I think one of the most important things we need to focus on is brand recognition. We need to be proud to work for Ambulance New Brunswick and MBMS, and those are just some of the things that we're going to start to drive this fall. Lastly, I really want to look at our rewards and recognition program. I think it's important that, as I said before, we celebrate some of the successes throughout the organization, but we recognize, more importantly, the people that do all the work behind the scenes. Our senior management team really is here, and we work hard, but it's really everyone else throughout the organization that does all the work, including all the frontline staff, communications, and nurses throughout our AIR program. So we're really excited to highlight some of the great work that's been going on in this organization. I look forward to it. Thanks again, Michelle. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Now it's time for some questions. Our first one's from Ryan Dickinson from Florenceville in the West Region of the province. Thanks for the question, Ryan. I've heard this question many times from many different staff. I know it wasn't a positive thing for most staff when we changed our short-term vacation filling, but the intention was not to deny vacation. The short-term leave was for emergency settings, and we're still granting those. And if those aren't being filled, or if you feel that you're being treated unfairly, we encourage you to bring it forward, and we'll investigate each incident. We know vacation allotment is an issue that a lot of paramedics feel that they're not always getting the time off that they need. It's always a big struggle in a large organization where we have to follow a collective agreement and go through a process. We want to make sure that we're fair and equitable and the people get the time off. One of our biggest issues is not having enough paramedics throughout the province. I'm happy to say that we just did a large intake of new potential students, and we've got more coming this Christmas. We've also done some extra recruitment in Quebec and Ontario, and I think it'll help solve some of the issues that we've been facing. Our next question is from Yvon Pignot, a paramedic from the Sackville District in the East. Yvon writes, "Hey Matt, are you looking to sponsor students for ACP training for school this year?" Thanks, Yvon, for the question. You and I have talked about this a few times, and I know other people are really curious. One of the things that we're waiting for is ACPs to be implemented. It'd be a little premature for us to sponsor bursaries without having ACPs in our system. So once we see that announcement and the implementation, then we'll start to look at bursaries. Our next question is from Tiffany Good, manager of MCMC Quality and Training. Tiffany writes, thanks for your question, Tiffany. As you know, EMDs are a vital and integral part of our business, and we're really looking for ways to increase awareness to all New Brunswickers and visitors. Over the years, we've been lucky. We've received a couple of national awards where we've been able to highlight some of the successes at the center, and you folks receiving ACE accreditation is really a feather in our cap and shows the quality and level of standard delivered here. Through social media, we're looking for ways where we can deliver more of an awareness to the public, and we're also looking at Telecommunications Week, where we can really successfully highlight some of the exciting work that's going on and some of the great people that work in this center and some of the lives that we touch on a daily basis. So thanks for the question, and any suggestions you have, I'm always looking forward to ways we can increase this. That's it for this update. Please keep the questions coming. They're great. More questions, the better. And hope everyone had a great summer and look forward to seeing you this fall. Thanks.